Today, we decided to do it a little bit different because so many young men are trying to find light in this situation. So many of these young brothers out here are trying to put feelings and emotions up to action to get something done. Look, we all know what's happening. We're all aware of it. I don't have to paint this picture. If you're not aware of it, something's terribly wrong anyway. But I've invited several people on, and we'll just meet them as we go along. But I want these young men to be able to ask some questions. I got a young man who wrote something that's pretty prolific, but I have my buddy Jeezy back. I have the man on the with us today named Raul Dubé, who sheltered several protesters to protect them. I have Kendren Smith. I've got Jason Obama. I've got a couple of young guys, but I have Tamika Mallory. This sister right here is what has been missing. Because here, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna let the floor open up. See, I'm 63 years old. So I can't even tell you, my whole life has been involved in protests, marches. I've seen the results of peaceful protests. I've seen what it can do. I've watched them turn, I've watched them infiltrate, I've watched them because that's the tactic of turning peaceful protests so they can change the narrative. I've watched them do this.
Right.
But what has happened now is this young sister has emerged as a voice because I don't know how this will sound coming from me, but I want you all to understand I'm saying this with a humble spirit. Protesting is a young people's sport. You dig? Because the old cats can't get out there like that no more. But what they have is knowledge.
That's right.
Correct.
They teach
Correct.
the system. But we need the voices of the young lions to roar. And that changes the perspective. And what is happening, I want to apologize to Black America because we stopped giving you proper leadership.
Correct.
We got lost along the way.
Correct.
And so now to see the young lions emerging is been most enlightening and very, very brightful because, man, now I see some light at the end of the tunnel. I hear some voices out there that's saying the right things and that's got it all in perspective. So today, I just want to open the floor. I want to start with Tamika.
We are in a state of emergency. Black people are dying in a state of emergency.
Say that, sir.
We cannot look at this as an isolated incident. The reason why buildings are burning are not just for our brother George Floyd. They're burning down because people here in Minnesota are saying to people in New York, to people in California, to people in Memphis, to people all across this nation, enough is enough.
Tell me what sparked this in you. Where did this fire come from?
Well, first of all, Steve, I'm not going to let you get off the hook. I want to say to you, thank you. You know, for a long time, you've been a voice and it's important. And sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't agree. But what we know is that you're never afraid to enter a conversation and to make sure that you're educating our people. But even more than that, I think what you're doing with young people, I don't know that enough folks understand what your camp does. And how these young people are able to get an experience every year for their mind, bodies, and souls. So many of our young people don't have those opportunities. So many of our young people don't get a chance to be in the space with a Steve Harvey and to know you actually go there and do the work, Steve. That's really, really honorable. And I just want to thank you for who you are and thank you for having me on and for edifying me today.
Thank you, sister. Thank
so now what was the question? Where we at?
Where did this fire that you have, where did this come from? What made you speak up?
So first of all, it comes from my mama. I got a Black mama from Alabama that does not play. And my father's position is his thing is when people say, well, how do you stay married and stay happy? He says, whatever she says, that's what we do. So that's how it goes. Don't bother her and I'm good. And my mother's a very, very strong woman. I didn't even prepare. Usually I prepare my words. So I'm going to start thinking about whether or not I need to do more off the cuff because I didn't prepare. I was just, as you are, everyone here. I was angry. Like I felt inside of me rage that we were even asking for the other officers to be arrested. And I know the Jedi mind trick, you were just talking about the infiltration and the games they play. First they fire them, see if everything will calm down, or maybe administrative leave, then they watch, then they might fire, you know, and then they'll say, okay, well, we'll arrest the one that was the worst. And they try to see at every stage whether the movement will die and people will go away. But we didn't go away. And people were tear gassed, there was rubber bullets, and you're right. I saw elders out there who were not able to run and keep up with the militarized police force that they were up against. This wasn't a regular march. This was like 1960s, and now they have better equipment. So at that time, they didn't even have the stuff that they're using now. We were standing next to a young lady who got shot with a rubber bullet in her eye, and she was bleeding. This was serious in Minneapolis. And those young people, they would run away, go cough, pour milk in their eyes to cool down the burning from the pepper spray. And the next thing you know, they were back in the crowd. They were back up against that police building, the precinct there, ready to fight. And from my perspective, I'm old too. I'll be 40 years old in just a few days. And I have a 21-year-old son, and I am probably too old to be out there, but they give me life. These young people, they give me life. So when they asked me to say some words, I just told the damn truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. See, you, this is what, sometimes, man, your calling. Now, I'm going to say something. I heard a black leader told me, a very, very famous one. He said, anyone would be a fool to want to lead black people because it's like trying to raise the dead. So when you become a leader of black people, it is because a calling has been put on you to do so. There's nothing you want to run out there and volunteer for. Because you don't even know what's coming, partner. So, so what the calling that's been put on you is really, really special. I didn't know you were 40. I promise you I thought you were in your 20s. I promise you I did. But which makes this even better because you have enough seasoning to understand, like you say, the infiltration and the policy and the things they've done to squash all of our peaceful protests in the past. I want to encourage you though, because what's missing right now in the culture is that young voice that resonates with younger people. See, at 63, they'll listen to me as Uncle Steve, and they'll hear me when it comes to advice in terms of motivation and hanging in there and following your dreams and faith. But, I'm not in a position to direct young people to, I have to watch when I'm stepping out here talking about looting and burning, even though I understand the angle. I know exactly why everything is on fire. I know exactly why they rioting, because as Martin Luther King said, rioting is the language of the unheard. I joined my first riot in 1968 when they killed Martin Luther King. Let me ask you this one question. This is for you and for Jeezy. Are you inspired by the show of non-African Americans that have joined in this?
Absolutely. I feel like for the first time, it's not black against white. It's us against the system. It's almost like this pandemic, this quarantine, the economy just slowed everything down so everybody could see the truth at one time. When you see people marching in Berlin, London, all these different countries, and they're screaming Black Lives Matter, you know we got more people in the fight. I just think for the first time they actually understand what we've been trying to say for so many years, and it's real. I mean, I looked at something today and I seen a guy that was non-black that had been shot in the face with a rubber bullet. Eye was swollen, and he got hit with pepper spray on the other side of his face. And he said that they tried to kill him, basically. So to me, it's like they're out there fighting for a cause that they actually believe in, because they feel like we've been treated unfair. And for me to see that, I have to have the utmost respect. Just like Tamika was saying, you got young people, old people out there, and they're not just black, you know, and to me, that's power. It's time. Like, I just feel like this is the time when we change the tide. You know, we ain't worried about no wave. Like, this is the time where we make our presence known, and that's amazing to see. I can't front.
Kendren?
Yes, sir.
What would you like to say? How is this affect? How old are you, first of all?
I just turned 16 in March.
Okay, cool. What do you think of all of this? You're a young man. What do you think of all of this?
I'm really having a lot of mixed emotions about it because they're killing our black men, the people I look up to, and I feel like I have no more men that guide me because we're all getting killed off, and the hate's killing us, and us going out there rioting. I feel like it's giving them more of a motive to kill us. Like, it's just gonna make everything worse. But I feel where they're coming from. I feel the anger, because sometimes I just want to go out there to go break something. But I know it's not gonna solve anything. It's just gonna make the problem worse.
Yeah. What do you see for a future for yourself? How do you feel about your future as a young black man?
Like, my future, it could go left or right. It depends on the decisions I make.
See, listen to me, man. I talk to young men all the time. If you ask a young white guy, 16 years old, what do you see for your future? I've never heard one of them say it could go right or
left or right. Yeah.
It could go this way or that way. They just paint the picture,
Yeah.
the vision, the dream.
That's right.
They're not even concerned with the this way or that way. This the way.
It's the way.
Right.
We don't even have to trip when we go outside. And what this young man is dealing with is crazy, because I thought it would be over with for my sons by now. But do you know, at 63 years old, that I have never awakened a single day of my life and not be conscious that I'm a black dude today. When I go outside, I have to factor that in. Everything I do.
To this day.
I got money, man, and I still have to factor that in.
That's right.
To this day.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just
the man in Central Park that old Karen called the police on the other day for nothing. He was a Harvard student. He was in the park bird watching. How about black men are bird watching?
Yeah.
And look what happened to him. And so I saw a meme that said, the Karen scenario, being the white woman who called the cops, she was hoping that the police officer would come and do to him what was done to George Floyd.
Right.
That's the goal.
Right. And to threaten him with the fact that she could call the police on him and tell them that he was assaulting her.
And knowing the system and how it works, had the perfect verbiage to get the job.
Oh yeah.
I am going to call them and tell them you are an African-American, a man attacking me.
That's right. That's
and
right.
She knows that works.
And then give the white girl tears when it wasn't moving as fast as she needed to. She started,
Girl. Well, thank God for these cameras, because I just feel like if we didn't have these cameras, we wouldn't even know. And I think that's the only difference, Steve. I feel like, and I feel like for the first time, this stuff is being, I wouldn't say televised, it's being spread on the net. It's the same thing that happened with Ahmaud Arbery. It's like, once we realized we had the power to spread and use our networks to let people know and be aware of what's going on out here, you know, that gave us a taste of victory. And when the George Floyd incident happened, if you could see, everybody was spreading the word, white, black, green, yellow. They just wanted people to see what was going on. If it wasn't for that recording, we wouldn't have known how it actually went down.
In 1970, maybe, there was a group out. Gil Scott-Heron was in the group. It was called The Last Poets. And they had a song out called The Revolution Will Not Be Televised.
There you go.
And it was so true. But today, though, the revolution will be televised.
Absolutely.
I thought, since social media had came about, I thought that once they saw on tape what we knew was already happening, this would end. And for
Right.
years it didn't. The Rodney Kings, the Gardners, you watch it choke out for selling cigarettes, and it just never happened. This is the first time because it came back to back. And I'm gonna tell you what I think happened.
Back to back.
Because of COVID-19 and
Absolutely.
more people are home.
Absolutely.
And you ain't out with your distractions.
And the money slowed up. So now
up.
people got real issues. So now they sitting there and you got all these problems going on and you're actually watching these things unfold. But for the first time, Steve, I will say that when people actually start seeing this on the net, because the net is a tool. We all know the Instagram, all these things are a tool, but we're using this for a tool for our culture for the first time. Yeah. This is a tool for the culture. So we're not promoting our things that we're selling. We're promoting our pain. We're promoting the chaos that we got to see. I mean, and I said that CNN couldn't cover it fast enough. Channel 5 couldn't cover it, but you had to go to the black blogs to see what was going on with our people every day. And it was like every 20 minutes you were seeing something, somebody was spreading something, and you wouldn't have known that people were being hurt and abused and trampled and all these crazy things if it wasn't for our black blogs and the internet.
Let me just say though, for Kenden, I think it's so important for us to acknowledge that he's growing up in a generation, along with my son, that watches murder every day in the palm of their hand. They literally watch murder every day. I didn't grow up that way. I didn't see, you knew that police killed people and incidents happen, but you didn't get to watch it from start to finish. Yeah. And the other thing I want to say to you, Kenden, is that it's not just young Black men who are being killed by police. Young women are also being killed by police.
Absolutely.
We have to make sure that we call Breonna Taylor's name today. This was a young woman who was shot in her home by police who were there to execute a no-knock warrant for someone who had not been in the home for 3+ years, and the man was in custody.
In jail, yes.
And they went to her home in the middle of the night, knocked on the door, wouldn't announce who they were. And you know that that's true because the recording, because you know they tried to say, oh no, we did everything right. Well, the 911 tape came out, which her boyfriend, Kenny Walker, called the police. How the hell you call the police on the police? No one does that. There's nobody who's in their house. They know the police are outside and they're going to call the police on the police.
Nobody with a warrant calls the police.
Hello. So he calls the police saying, hey, something is going on here. I don't know what's happening. And you hear all of that. These people shot into her home. And I went there. I saw bullets all around her sister's window. And her sister wasn't home that night, but the bullets were in her dresser, in her wall, all over her room. So their mom would have been burying 2 people if she was not out of town, because she lived with Breonna. Wow. They shot more than 30 shots into the building, in which some of them went into the apartment where a 5-month-old baby was sleeping, just completely reckless and out of control. Wow. She was an EMT worker. She was 26 years old. She was just starting her life, and she's now dead. And guess what? No one has been held accountable. What they have the vacation, which is the administrative leave. The officers have been placed on administrative leave. But hey, Steve and Jeezy and Kenden, here's the big issue with this. This happened in March. It happened on March 13th. And here we are in June and still nothing. So you want to know why people are vandalizing and looting and everything else? I mean, people are fed up.
Well, you know, like you said in your speech, we got the looting from you. Right. This whole thing came about from the biggest gangster loot of all time.
Right.
That's right.
And not to mention, Steve, like the everybody knows the police union is the biggest union in the world. They're like a gang. They look out for each other, take care of their own. As you watch what's going on, you can tell that they're not wanting to give up their own, and that's what got us here.
During this protest, one of the things that we're going to have to get out of this is that the frustration that the police department has with high crime areas is high crime areas have a no snitch policy. Right. And so, you know, they can't solve crimes because nobody wants to snitch. Well, the no snitch policy exists in the police department.
Right.
because they witness crimes occurring all the time, but they have brotherhood and blue that they adhere to. You know your boy is out of line. You know he's dishonoring the shield. You know he's going against the oath that he took, but yet and still you co-sign him because you all are the ones out there on the front lines together. But you can't co-sign crime if you're the one that's supposed to uphold the law. You can't the law. So we got to make sure in this protest, Tamika and all of you out there on the front lines that's out there marching with it, we got to get that brought to the attention. Now they have internal affairs and all the police hate internal affairs, but we know how that works. So this is a perfect time. I really think this situation is getting some movement.
But Kenden, I'll say to you, brother, I'll tell you as a black man that's been through a lot of things myself, you know, my everyday battle is to do better for my people and lead by example. So people like yourself can see that we can surpass just music, sports, and the typical things that they give us, because you know that's the obvious route. But just know that you shouldn't have to look left or right. Your path should be straight. You shouldn't have to look to the left or the right. You should keep going and know that we have people like myself, Tamika, brother Steve, and all these people you see out on the front line. They're fighting for you to have your freedom. They're fighting for you to have your equality. They're fighting for you to become the man that you should be able to become without all this chaos. And we here for you, man. I tell you, like, you know, when it's all said and done, just know that if there's anything you could do to reach people that's your age and let them know, let's not lose the message. You know what I'm saying? As y'all coming into the age and you guys can vote, y'all should do so. If you come into the age where you can have things to say that support your cause, you should do so. Never be quiet, and you shouldn't feel like you shouldn't live your life in fear. You shouldn't have to live your life in fear and worrying about what can happen to you just because of the color of your skin.
And George couldn't breathe, so I'll breathe for him.
Right.
There you go. Hey, do we have Raul Dubé?
Steve, Mr. Harvey, how are you?
I'm hearing different versions of exactly what happened, but you're the gentleman who opened up his door to shield and protect some protesters. Tell us exactly what happened, Raul.
Right.
Steve, first of all, thank you. And I just appreciate this opportunity. It's great to see Mecca on this call because he was one of the guys, one of us 70 plus that was in my house. Mecca, I love you. And I was going to text you later on, but things have been a little hectic. It was about 8:45 and I saw this gathering of the police force right on the corner of my house, on the corner of the street there, about 40 or so, and nothing was going on. Beautiful night, 3/4 moon. Next thing I know, there's a few stragglers that are walking down Swan Street, and I'm like, okay, there must be some people dispersing and they're trying to walk through. And more people. Now, I have actually marched in the local DC Gay Pride Parade, and I know the parade routes. I live in DuPont Circle. I've marched that 5-6 years in a row. I know where they take that route, up 14th, up past Florida, north of my house, 5 or 6 blocks north of my house. And I'm wondering, I've lived down the street for years. Why are there people coming down here in droves? And then it hit me. They're moving, they're pinning them in. This is going to be bad. It's after curfew. Why is there a military helicopter? All this stuff, Steve, is coming to me at 9 p.m. Why is there a military helicopter floating above when the helicopters in D.C., I've lived here for 17 years, go in an oval, and this one's hovering, and nothing's going on yet. So all this stuff is going on, and then there are a couple people. There's a little bit of a bottleneck happening right outside my door. I'm 30 yards away from that corner where the police brigade is. So they asked if they could sit on my stoop, and I'm on my stoop. I'm on the top step. I'm like, sure, have a seat. Someone asked me, a mother and daughter asked me if they could charge their cell phone. They've been gone all day, peacefully protesting, and they need to call their daughter. And the mother asked, can my daughter use your charger? I said, no problem. Let them in. Another person asked if they use the bathroom. People were storing skateboards. Now it's getting bigger and bigger. 20 minutes goes by. It's very calm. People are peacefully. I can't tell you. I've been part of some protests. Yeah. I'm a big movie fan. I know what it looks like, right? This was not that. I took a video at 9:18, and it was, let us through. Let us through. Totally peaceful, okay? A mix of races. I'd say predominantly 80% black. I was proud of the 20%. A few Indians like myself, Indian American, that were there. And so I was representing. I was like, cool, brown power, you know? And next thing I know, bang, it was intense, Steve. There was a sound bang. There was spray. There was, you know, it was so intense. that the best way I can describe it is I've been lucky enough to be at a horse race on the railing. And when they come down the stretch, the police were equivalent to 12 horses with that much force and so much screaming that I flung the door open, and the two mother-daughter that were sitting right next to me close, I was like, get in the house. Kid was coming to get a skateboard. I'm like, get in the house. Someone said, my phone's in there. I'm like, get. And then that was it. It was on me, a human tsunami. Mecca, he can kind of account for that, but for 10 minutes, 5 deep, 4 deep, they're spraying pepper spray in the back of people's heads. They're spraying on my steps. I got sprayed. They're beating people as they're running away.
Wow.
And I mean, it's just pandemonium. I've been able to see other angles from the cameras. Jeezy, you absolutely said it, man. I would love to talk to you because what took place in my house, hopefully we get to. After I locked that door of 10 minutes screaming in, I knew I had to keep the door open as long as possible. The police brigade was pushing through, and they passed my stoop, and I looked, and there was nothing in the wake, not a single protester. So I closed the door, locked it, and it was the first time I went inside. And I saw on the main floor, I live in a 3-story brown house, main floor, milk flying, crying, coughing. No one can see anything. They spray into the house through my windows. I have a big bay window, spray into it. People are downstairs. People are in the backyard, upstairs.
Wait a minute.
It was,
Wait. They sprayed into your house.
They sprayed into the house as people were running into the house. This was going on for 10 minutes. So the first floor and the bay window is where everyone piles into because it's right next to the door. So the police can look into my window. I'll send you a picture sometime. You can take a look. It's haunting. And you can see there was a great BBC footage of a neighbor that took it from about 100 yards away across from a different angle. Now, you got to remember, I'm in it. I'm opening the door, holding it open on my railing and just saying, go, 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 wedging myself between the banister and the door so it doesn't shut, and just kept screaming over and over again. So I can't really see what's happening more than 2 feet in front of me, okay? So and what's happening 2 feet in front of me is pure brutality and terror. I saw skulls getting cracked, okay? There's a great gentleman by the name of, starts with an H, Mecca, you know who I'm talking about. He's huge. On the floor, first person I saw. 6'9", fetal position, crying. Now, if this is looting and this is rioting and you're elevated, you're looting my home. You're throwing things through my house. No.
That's right.
People are washing each other's faces. They're filling up my bathtub. They're taking care. Now, an hour and a half of pure chaos, Mecca, you know that was going on for an hour and a half. It subsides. The pepper spray, we stop coughing, we can breathe literally, figuratively, and everyone's like, okay, what are we gonna do? Now, let me ask you this. If we were rioting, okay, and I'm the homeowner, so if any of my new extended family of 70 plus was a rioter, a looter, or angry, they'd be out that door or they'd be out the back alley looting up the alley.
That's right. We
came together as 70 strangers at that moment. So tell me, what were we doing wrong?
Wow. Mecca, you were there. This is intense. See, I didn't get this version of it. You know, on the news, you got a whole nother version. It was nowhere near. Mecca, how was the evening for you as one of the protesters, and how did this unfold in your eyes?
We're just peacefully marching up through the neighborhoods, just trying to find somewhere to go, and we got on street and we realized the police cut us off on one end, so we tried to turn around and leave, and they cut us off on the back end. We were standing around for a while just trying to figure out what to do. I even asked some of the officers what they wanted us to do because they weren't letting us leave, and they refused to talk to me. And then all of a sudden they started pushing in, and it was chaos. They were macing people, like Raul said, macing people, hitting people. I looked over my friend Garrett Reeves, who I was protesting with the past 3 nights. He was running up the steps to Raul's house and he was calling my name. So I looked, saw Raul telling everybody to get in, and it was my only option. So I ran in. They chased after us with mace, and it was pure chaos in the house. Like,
see, listen, man, I'm gonna say this.
Steve, I gotta tell you, man, I can't. It's only been 3 days, and I'm sorry I can't articulate this well, and I'm getting heated, but I've never seen anything like it. I've been the closest thing that I've been to, because I'm a privileged brown guys, and us Southeast Asians, both men and women, don't fit for anyone in terms of color because we're very ethnocentric. And I'll just call myself out on that, but you know, things change.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they do. But let me tell you this, the closest I've been into something like that was, yeah, everyone's kind of, not everyone, but anyone who's been to a house party that's been packed and cops show up and they kick in the door. There's a mad scramble, right? Okay, multiply that by 100,000 and you don't even come close.
Wow. See, this
and I heard you ordered pizza, man. We salute you, brother. We salute you.
Yeah, you did. What
you know, hey, man, we were all in it together. I called the owner right away. Make him remember that was an ordeal. They hijacked our pizza. They were trying to starve us.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. You know what?
Wow.
We got pizza coming in from all directions 2 hours later because they heard about it.
There you go. There you go.
It takes this to happen. I did an interview on a Chicago news station yesterday because they listened to my radio show there and they thought I had an interesting take on things. But see, listen to me. I was doing a closing remark for 2 days in a row because I know from all the protests from I was a kid in the 60s, I knew for a fact that until you get white outrage, none of this will change. See, slavery didn't end because black people got tired of being slaves. We was tired from the first day of work. We were done with slavery. It took 400 years of slavery for some non-whites, some non-blacks to get on board and go, you know what? We need to be abolitionists. We need to stop this. This humanly is incorrect. As Frederick Douglass said, who amongst you thinks that slavery is right for you? Who thinks that's a good idea? 400 years. But until some whites got involved and got in there to help the fight, it ended. This is the first protest that I have seen in my life where this sheer number of non-black people are involved in a cause that affects predominantly people of color. This is the first time. Now you gonna get movement. When you start pushing white girls in the flow, when you start shooting white girls with rubber bullets, it's different. Hold up, partner. Because now they going home showing their mama their stomach. And now it's a different world. When you push black people down, they've been pushing it and they don't discuss it at the dinner table. They're having this discussion at the dinner table. I thank God for COVID-19 right now.
Absolutely.
Sit here.
Absolutely.
And we've been joined by one of the civil rights superstars in this thing, and I want to make sure he gets on. My brother, Benjamin Crump. Let me talk to you, Benjamin Crump, about the legalities of what's happening right now. Because I got some young men. I've got Raul Dubé, who opened up his doors and saved so many protesters. I've got young brothers. I got one of the protesters that was out there. I got a young man you all haven't met that's out of sight. But let's talk about these charges right quick. The charges went from what to what? What are going to be charges of the three other additional? Just talk me through the legal aspect of it now.
Certainly, and thank you, Steve, for mentoring and doing what you're doing. Jeezy, big fan. Thank y'all for mentoring our future. Attorney General Keith Ellison, Steve, a brother who has a long track record as a champion for civil rights, has now taken over the case. He's the first African-American to be Attorney General of the state of Minnesota. And what Keith did, his office, they went and looked at all the evidence on their own, and they made a decision to expeditiously go ahead and arrest the other three officers. So all the police officers have been arrested now, and they have been charged with aiding and abetting in a murder. And that is significant. Even the one who had the pepper spray, keeping the lay people back, who was trying to help George Floyd, who knew that they were killing him. And then on Officer Chauvin, they upgraded the charges to second-degree murder. What's significant about that, Steve, if he was convicted of third-degree murder, the most he could get would be 25 years. And we were really troubled by that because the least he could get would be probation. And so literally, his range of time was 0 to 25, and the judge didn't even have to put him in prison. But now with the second-degree murder charge, if he's convicted, we know he gets at least 10 years. and he can get up to 40 years. So that's very significant. The aiding and abetting officers, they can get up from 0 to 20 years. And that's significant because it sends a message. You know, Steve, and we talked about this before, you know, we say, well, not all police officers are bad police, and we absolutely know there's some good police officers, but we need good police officers that speak up when they're saying bad things. I think with these charges, police officers will now speak up knowing that they can be charged with aiding and abetting. So those are the new charges the family is relieved to finally have all these murderers arrested.
See, that breaks the Brothers in Blue code.
Right.
And all it does is, and all we want as police officers is to uphold and obey the same laws you hold us to. So if you now know that your brother in blue is doing something and you're on the scene that causes the loss of life, just like on 48 Hours Forensic File, I don't care if you drive a getaway car, they didn't tell you they was going in there to do, they go inside, do no deal and a murder go down. Everybody, the driver, everybody finna do time for murder.
It's accountable. Accountability.
God, it was
accountability.
Accountability could change the game.
Yes.
This is the first time, man, I felt very, very hopeful that this situation now can turn around. And Benjamin Crump, you know, we were talking about talking to Tamika Mallory earlier, this powerful young sister.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking
yes.
and her voice. I know you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's my girl.
But you, boy, let me tell you something. You that dude, man. You that dude that jump on the front line for black people. You ain't scared. You smart. You get in there. You bring attention to the situation. You enlighten everybody. You ain't got to walk the case all the way down through trial and jury. We need you to keep doing what you're doing to bring the attention, bring it to our attention, because this stuff gets pushed under the rug too lightly. And what you're doing out there is very powerful. The combination of people like you and these young lions that I'm seeing start to rise up. You know, my son did a video that they wanted to do reports on because it's a very, very powerful video. He was in Atlanta and he went to the protest. He's a college student. He went down there for the art part of it to capture it on film. Videographer, photographer. And he captured it and he happened to catch this one sister talking. And this sister talking, and then he put the footage of her voice. She didn't cuss. She was dead pointed, man, about why she was out there protesting. And his video went viral, and now they're talking to him about doing some studies with him on TV and stuff. I was really proud of it. Wow. But as a father, of course, I'm going, yo, hold up, man. Whoa, 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 whoa. They got curfew now, because the next night they enforced a curfew in Atlanta. So I don't want my son out there, because once they bring in that curfew, you break the curfew, you breaking the law. That opens the door for them to do what they want to do. But my son, 23. But I'm proud of the fact that he's out there. And what I'm saying that to say that these young lions are starting to rise up and to matter, to affect people like Mecca and Jason and Kendren. You all have people that's right in that next age bracket where you're shooting for, that you can be proud of, that you can go, wow, the generation right above me, that next level that I'm trying to get to, that 21. See, when you're a teenager, you want nothing more than to be 18. And after that, you want nothing more than to be 21, then 25. After that, you quit wishing for birthdays. and so that generation, you all got these 20-some-year-olds, they some bad lions. And
That's
then
right.
we need the old school cats, Jeezy's generation, Crump's generation, and then my generation to teach you the mental aspect of what you got to do. Because what I just been watching, look, man, protesting is a young man's sport. It really is.
Yes, it is.
Because you got to run, you got to go down the other street, you got to climb a fence. You know, man, you got to get the pepper spray out your eye, still move. It's a young person's sport. This ain't for me.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, can I say this?
Yes, sir.
I just think the young energy in the protesters, because as we often talk, you got to fight in the court of public opinion, in the court of law. And I absolutely believe what these young people were doing all around the world helped get the justice moving forward on George Floyd. Never would they have appointed the Black Attorney General had the young people said when that DA came out and said there may be evidence that a crime is not committed. And jeezy, we saw it with our own eyes. And so essentially, Steve Harvey, what our medical examiners concluded, the ambulance that came to pick George Floyd up that we saw in that video, jeezy, was his hearse. He was from the scene. He never recovered after he went postless and non-responsive. And you remember that officer said, one of the officers said, I'm not getting a post. Maybe we should turn him on his side. And the one officer, Chauvin, who had his knee in his neck, who's the most senior police officer out there, said, no, keep him in this position. And for 3 more minutes while he was completely unconscious, they kept the knee on his neck, not giving him any chance to survive. And so I thought that would be important to make sure they understood the forensic sciences and evidence.
And you know something, Crump, what I've often been afraid of is when they get to court and they put these police officers in these suits and they sit there and they make the statement, we were in fear of our safety. Well, I want to point this out. I watched the video. When he had his knee on his neck, the officer Chauvin, or whatever his name is, had his hands in his pocket. Now, you can't get too much more comfortable than putting your hands in your pocket. I've been under some duress. I had some dudes kicking my ass before. I ain't never had my hands in my pocket in the middle of no ass whooping. I ain't never had my hands in my pocket when I felt threatened. I get my hands out. I get them knucks up. I get squared. I'm old school. I've been fighting my whole life. I get them dukes up. I'm ready to go square. When he put his hands in his pocket and he was looking just like it was a day at the park, they're not getting away with this. One last thing I want to say about these protesters, man. The thing that I'm impressed about is that they not letting up.
Exactly.
Old school protesters, once we get the arrest, we go home. These young people ain't having that no more.
Cause we can't lose the message, Steve. This is bigger. Man. This is bigger. This is bigger than that. This is our chance to change the narrative, my brother. We have the world's attention, and that's what I've been preaching. Let's not lose the message, because we fighting the battle now, which we're gonna win. But we got to get ready for this war, and that's set them voting polls. Because we got to do what we got to do, and we need to show it with the same numbers, the same energy. And the same young bucks that's out there on the front line, because people are taking rubber bullets for our cause. They're taking tear gas for our cause. So when it's time for us to show up and get who we need to get out of office, we got to do that. And I don't want to hear this voting don't count and all that. That's how they got there in the first place.
Damn right.
Because we didn't show up.
Because Steve, if we do give up, it's not gonna end. It's gonna keep going. It's not going to be acknowledged. It's just going to be another black man dead out on the street.
How can I actually help? Tell me what we can do to help. Because if we're waiting for white people to change their minds, that's not going to happen. But it's not just black. Put the black, the Latino. You guys all know this. I'm getting really worried, and I'm afraid to say this, but I know, I just can't keep it in. You guys have experienced this. I just learned this 3 days ago. This is genocide. What I saw is genocide. What you live and what you experience is genocide. And I appreciate how intelligently you're looking at this, and I'm heated. You're talking about accountability? What about humanity? Let's take that up to humanity, and let's put accountability under that.
See, Raul, that's exactly why. See, we need other voices to help us with this cause, because we've said it every way we know how to say it. We've been lynched. We've been tarred and feathered. We've been fire hosed. We've been German shepherd. We've been drugged by bumpers, Charles Bird down the street. We done had it all happen to us. We've been convicted unjustly. We watched them make crack laws meet 3 rocks of crack is 8 mandatory years, 3 rocks of cocaine probation. We watched all of this amass over the years against us. We needed the white outrage that we're having right now to really start feeling.
So let me ask one question. let me just ask one question, because what you're saying is so complex. I'm looking at it in the same way that you are, right? There are all of those challenges that are out there and all of those fears that are out there, right? But here's the challenge: policy, all of that stuff, socioeconomic. Sit down and talk to someone and ask this one question. This is where we begin, because I'm getting that. Why did you open the door? That's not a question I can answer because I didn't think about it. But ask yourself this question and simplify the complex. That's what I learned as an innovator and what I do. It's ask this question: would you do the same thing?
Absolutely.
And I say, and I feel this in my heart of heart, guys, I swear to you, and people are kind of ridiculing me about it, 95% of the people would do exactly what I did. I know it in my heart. I'm not saying all, because there's pure evil out there, and I saw it, man, but it's only 5%. And take the blacks, the Latinos, Southeast Asians, combine us, put that percentage together. I don't have it off the top of my head, but we're at 65, 70% maybe.
See, look, man, I got what you're saying.
Bring in immigrants. Immigrants, too.
But see, listen to me. This shit ain't really complex. Right. This shit real simple, man. How would you feel if they were murdering your white boys out in the street like they murder our black sons in the street? How would you feel? That's
you want to ask me?
I'm sorry. See, I done got mad now. So hold on. See, it's really not complex, man.
Nah.
It's really, really simple.
It's real life. It's real life.
We've been
reality.
asking it, man.
It's reality.
Now, Raul,
right?
People like you,
right,
with different texture hair, a different skin tone.
Right.
We need these white women. We need white men who are outraged.
Raul, what you can do for people like yourself, and I see how solid you are, and we get it. The reason why we're calm is we've been through this all our lives.
I'm sorry, guys.
Let me say this, Raul. Like I said, we commend you for opening your doors. But now I want you to open your mind. I want you to go research. I want you to go catch up on the history. Just think about when these kids were in school, and you in Kenden, right now, you in Mecca, you guys in school. How much of that is black history when you open those books? Who wrote those books? Was it black people that wrote the black history, or was that a white man? What do they teach about black history? How much do you know about black history? This has been going on all our lives. So we got numb to it to a certain point, but now they peel back off the scars and the wounds. And we hurting again. And for people like yourself, just educate yourself on what we've been through.
Jeezy, listen to me, man. I've been really trying to educate myself, because as I've been asking for people to join in with us, I wrote a closing remark called, I'm just looking for a few good white folks. That was my closing remark. I'm just looking for a few good white folks to just join in with us. I did some research today, and I keep wondering, where is the Southern Baptist Convention? This is the largest religious group in the United States outside of Catholics. The Southern Baptist Convention. They are always uncommonly quiet during moments like this. This is the largest Christian organization in the country. They never come to our aid. Well, I did some research. The Southern Baptist Convention were the Southern Christians who were on the side of slavery when the Civil War broke out. I didn't know that till yesterday. Wow. And I kept wondering, and I was going to write an open letter to them, why they won't come in and help us. They're the largest Christian organization outside of Catholics in the United States. The Southern Baptist Convention, the evangelicals, the Southern Baptist evangelicals. And you hear them all the time as a voting bloc that they're trying to appeal to, and Trump has to appease the Southern evangelicals. And I did the research and I found this out. And now I'm sitting up here going, whoa, man, this thing is even deeper than I had imagined. So I'm saying this to say, look, man, as we open our eyes to this situation and we get Raul, cats like that, and all these many non-blacks who are out here. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, man. Jeezy said it a minute ago. He just appreciated it, man. We do. These young people appreciate it, because that's what's needed to bring about change, man. Because, hey, man, let me introduce you all to somebody right quick. Where's, is it Jason?
Yes, sir. That's me right here, sir.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you, Steve?
Yeah. How old are you, man?
I'm 20 years old.
Oh, you 20. Okay, good, man. What What do you do? You in school? What do you do?
I'm a full-time musician, sir.
Oh, okay, full-time musician. Rap?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ladies and
All right.
gentlemen, meet Jeezy.
hey, Steve, real quick, I would like to say that for someone iconic like you to like use your platform for someone like us, you know, I appreciate you, and Jeezy, I appreciate you for being a idol for us young brothers.
So,
Man, you see, look, man, the reason we do it, Jeezy's third time with me. The reason we do it, man, is because we see us in y'all. I was 20, man. Ain't no which way to go. I was at 16, could have went right or left. I done had this conversation my whole life, man. I didn't get it figured out till I was 27.
Right.
I ain't even start comedy till I was 27. I wish I'd have done it years before. I just didn't have it together, man. I praise God I got it together now. So these platforms, we understand where y'all at, right? We understand every emotion you feeling. You can't feel any emotion me and Jeezy ain't felt. Not as no black dude, no sir. We been here the whole time. What I like this cat right here, Jason, man, I want y'all to do. You wrote was it a poem or a rap that you wrote?
It was a poem. It was a poem about the police brutality and what's been going on. It's basically a tribute to Arbery and George Floyd.
What was the thought process behind what you wrote?
What made me write it was the fact that after I seen that video with George, days and days after that, like I just couldn't sleep. Every time I felt like, every time I tried to lay down, I just didn't have the energy to, because I just didn't understand how like something like this could happen to him in broad daylight, you know? And I feel like if you have seen the video and don't feel some type of way about it, you very inhumane, very inhumane.
You deep, man, because you know what he just said? I couldn't sleep. Wow. See, the normal 20-year-old, he can't sleep because he got something to do. He got somewhere he want to go. He going on spring break. I can't sleep because, man, I got my dreams running through my head and I can't wait to get up and get at it. Black boys can't sleep because they keep seeing black men get killed over and over and over. And what got us so uptight is we all know it could have been any one of us. We just know, man. I've been pulled over by the police as a famous person, and thank God I was famous. Because I got pulled over in a couple of real dark situations with my boy. But because I was famous, initially it wasn't good. It was guns in the windows. But when the windows came down and that ID got handed out, all of a sudden it was Steve Harvey. Okay. But see, what happens if I ain't, though? Exactly. Lord have mercy, what happens? It could have went the other way. What I want to do, man, could you do for us the poem you wrote?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Okay, come on.
Okay. Arbery and George Floyd shouldn't have died, and if the system didn't fail us, they would still be alive. With all the pain and agony while on his neck, and he cried. I know they hear us, they don't see us like they legally blind, but nah, I know they see us making the movement. We making the movement. We ride for our brothers and sisters that we keep on losing. Y'all expect us to sit back like it never ever happened. The man in blue is quick to jump when we all come into action. If we don't see the video, the story gets no traffic. Man, I'm tired of going places where I'm judged upon my blackness. They treat us just like animals as if we weren't human. If this the land of the free, then me and my family moving, because as African Americans, we work where we are. We have been through all the beatings, but we also hear the scars just to go through this again. But now it's just twice as hard. If they try to put us down, then we got to level up. How are they going to be protectors when they the ones hunting us? I hate being in a place with a system I don't trust. This world got to adjust. My people, I'm standing up.
There you go. Talk that talk, baby.
Yeah.
Talk that talk. Talk that talk.
I heard
that. That's what we need. We need more young voices to speak up. And even as somebody that's from a generation before you, I'm gonna tell you, I apologize for not doing as much as I could in not understanding my position in this, because the first generation messed it up, but the second generation, you guys took a double hit. And I'll assure you, like, this time around, we're gonna stand with y'all, we're gonna stand for y'all, and y'all just make sure y'all voices be heard, because you know this is for y'all and y'all children.
Well, Jeezy, I just want to say, even though you said that you wasn't there before, it matters that you're here now. So
real talk.
We gonna no matter what, as long as we stay together, we're going to get through all this, man.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's not lose the message, baby.
Traylon, give me your opinion. I got some really great people on this call here. Give me your thoughts of what you're hearing or what you wonder. And how old are you?
I'm 18. I just graduated from high school this year.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
Congrats, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. So my opinion on what's going on right now, what I've heard is just voting. I guess you can say that we should all vote, not just the presidential election, but also the local election. Since one of the African American males known as Mark Veazey, he's a congressman. He went to my same high school, and he's our congressman of our precinct. So I guess you could say that Mark Veazey is our voice of Congress. Also, I heard this on Instagram today, and he said this was on the Green Bay Packers because I follow them. He said that racism isn't inherited; it's taught. So I feel like we should start young. So I got this shirt. It says "Eat Racism." I got it from the African American Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. That's where I learned my roots from. So I guess we should all go to a place where we could know where Black history is actually made, and actually see the fact itself, just going online and reading about it.
That's powerful.
Yes, sir.
Powerful. Hey, let me talk to you, Derek. How old are you?
Yes, sir. I'm 15 years old.
15. How do you feel about all this you hear? What are your thoughts?
I think this was police brutality at its finest. I don't think a man should have lost his life for alleged $20 counterfeit. I feel like he lost his life for no reason, and he was already detained. He had him in cuffs. There's no reason an officer should have his knee on his neck and just watch him die. And there's other officers just watching him die, and they wouldn't let other people help. It's just sad.
How do you feel about police officers where you live and everything?
I feel scared, kind of. I feel like it's kind of just a trap, because I can't run away because of my skin color. I'm Black. No matter what, I'm gonna be targeted no matter what. If I go outside with my friends, they probably gonna think we're planning something. We're gonna rob someone's house. If I get followed around in a gas station, just being Black by myself, it's just a threat to the police officers. And
you're not by yourself though, bro. We're with you.
Yeah. See, everybody in this block, all these squares, the sad reality of it is, we know exactly what you're talking about. From 63 all the way down to 15. And it's crazy, man. It ain't changed, man. But we are on the cusp of something great about to occur. And I have to believe that, because everything has to change. You can't stay the same. You just can't keep oppressing the same people. Even slavery ended, took 400 years, but even that came to a close. This brutality against people with skin tones, it has to stop. And what's important, man, is you young lions out there, if you drink the knowledge of the old lions, see, don't write old people off so quick. Oh, y'all ain't hip, y'all don't know what's happening. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. The only advantage you got over old people right now is technology. Right. But experience, pardon me.
And a little testosterone, though. And a little testosterone. They got a little
testosterone. But I take injections, so I still got mine. I take a shower, so I'm juiced up.
There you go.
I ain't gaining no muscle. My anger level is right over here, man. I'm on age management. Man, I'm the 63-year-old dude that's really flipped it back to 36.
There you go.
I'm sexy, I'm fly, I'm balling, I got paper, I'm driving hard.
Talk that talk.
Dog, I'm Steve Harvey.
There you go.
Say what you want to say about me. You know how many people counted me out, man? You know what I learned about people that counted me out? Their ass can't count.
Right.
Man.
Tell him, Steve. Tell him, Steve.
Man, you don't understand. Dog, I'm a bad boy. I've been through too much, man.